friend of the show at this point. Tommy, what's up, man? Where are you calling from? How's Australia so far?
Hey guys, how y'all doing? Yeah, I'm down here in Adelaide right now. I got here yesterday. Unfortunately, it's been raining all day, so we're playing that waiting game, just in the players' lounge. I don't know if you guys can hear it; it's a little loud in here, but yeah, just waiting around.
Tommy, how's the jet lag? I know you got in yesterday. You and B. Stine got in yesterday. How are you feeling? And how do you recover from jet lag after such a long trip?
For me, coming down to Australia isn't too bad. It actually helps. I slept the most I've ever slept on a flight. I think I slept like 10 hours coming down here. So that really helps. No, but for me, it's just like you got to stay awake, try and stay awake till like 9 or 10. And then, you know, first couple nights you might wake up 3 or 4 in the morning, but really just trying to get adjusted to the schedule as fast as possible. Obviously, we do it a ton. We're pretty used to time changes going around the world. So I would say I'm almost a pro at that now.
Yeah.
Hey, Tommy, how was your off season? What do you think? Because I know how important that is for players to get a little downtime, but also then really ramp it up and have that period where you can ramp it up physically.
Yeah, this was actually the longest time off I've had out of any of the seasons. So it was kind of nice. I had like three and a half weeks off, which, I mean, it's really not much, but for tennis it is.
Wait, did I see you go somewhere snowmobiling, snow? What were you doing?
Yeah. We went to Vail, Colorado. It was the second year in a row. I went snowboarding out there.
Oh,
so much fun. I had never really been to the mountains until last year was my first time, and I like fell in love with it. So we went out there again in November, and then kind of got back to training end of November. And we had like an unreal group of guys in South Florida. We had a big group, and we're all kind of sharing the practice courts, doing a lot of fitness together. We kind of did everything as a big group, so it was a lot of fun. We got a good work in.
2 questions to follow up real quick. Did you wear wrist guards when you were snowboarding? That scares me a little bit. And then who was the group of guys that you were training with?
That's a good question, because the first time I went, I was like, oh my God, like I gotta figure something out with my wrist. And I did order some wrist guards, and I think those will be with me every time I'm going out there. I think it helps a ton. And the group that we had, I mean, JJ Wolf was down there. I was practicing with Riley quite a bit. Kovacevic, Rybakov, Francis was down there. I mean, we had Michael Moe was down there a couple of days. We had a really good group of guys that we were practicing with, training with.
Can you see the tennis now, by the way? Can you see?
Yep, I got it.
Nice. All right, you're on your phone. Tommy, you made your ATP debut in 2015. That's almost 10 years ago. Of course, you're only 26 years old. Do you feel like a veteran? Would you call yourself a veteran now?
I feel like I've been out here a while for sure. I mean, that's kind of crazy to think about 10 years, but yeah, I mean, I definitely know all the tournaments that I'm going to. I know all the hotels I'm going to be staying in. In a way, it's kind of nice. You know what you like and you don't like in every city. That makes it a little easier, but the traveling never really gets easier, to be honest. But yeah, I kind of feel like a vet now.
Well, Tommy, Tracy asked you a little bit about your preseason. I know you work with Franco Herrero. We're actually going to speak with Franco tomorrow. I was in touch with him earlier today.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. Hey, he's in Hawaii. He said he'll be chilling. He'll be on a hike probably when we're talking to him. But what I wanted to ask you is, ever since you started working with him, maybe you can tell us how many years you've been with him, but you've been one of the fittest guys on the tour. You've been one of those guys that's been out there, been able to last in matches. What's kind of the secret sauce of working with Franco? And what was your preseason like? Were you doing 2-a-days of tennis along with fitness? How many hours were you going into?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've worked with Franco, I mean, I want to say 4 to 5 years now. We've been working together a long time. And I wouldn't say there's a secret sauce, you know? I mean, we just work really hard. I mean, we do, I mean, I do way more fitness than tennis in November and December. I do one session of tennis every day, and 2 sessions of fitness most days until like the last week. We'll slow down and do 1 fitness. But I mean, it's kind of like the same things, repetitive over and over. It gets annoying, but a lot of the injury prevention stuff, a decent amount of track, which is the worst part, and staying in the gym, lifting, and kind of just covering all the bases.
Well, one thing I remember in Houston this last year in 2023, you were with Franco was there with you and Rybakov, and he was putting you guys through pretty much a preseason week in Houston while you were playing the tournament. And so, kind of, how did you feel that helped you throughout the rest of the season, or is that something that Franco really goes into, is kind of doing some of those preseason type training throughout the year?
Definitely. I mean, he finds little gaps in my schedule as much as he can. I think the one that kind of stands out the most to me was when I went to Asia at the end of the year last year. We had like 7 days between Beijing and Shanghai where he put me through. He wasn't even there, but he talked to my coach and my physio, and they put me through basically a full-blown preseason. I was absolutely dying, but I really felt so much better going into Shanghai and going throughout the rest of the year, feeling really fit. I feel like for me, it's so important to be at like peak physical performance. My game doesn't work otherwise. I'm not like the most pure ball striker or like have a massive serve, so I got to rely on my body a lot.
Hey, Tommy, so talking about peak physical performance and peak tennis performance last year at the Australian, I'm going to go straight to it. Get into the semis for the first time of a major playing Novak. Just talk us through that, beating Ben Shelton in the quarters, what that felt like playing Ben. You know, you're the older American now. You're feeling the pressure. I'll start with that.
Yeah, well, against Ben, like, it was a super exciting match. I've always really liked Ben. I mean, I knew him before he was kind of on tour. He was definitely winning challengers. Like, I don't want to be like, oh, I knew him before anyone did. But I mean, I liked him. I know his dad pretty well. Really, really nice guy. And I mean, I was excited to play him. Like, it wasn't extra pressure for me because I mean, I looked at it like, all right, this is an unreal opportunity, and I'm in the quarters of a slam. I've never been here either. So, like, let's just go out there and, like, may the best man win.
Yeah, I love it. And then talk about Novak, because most of us never get to play Novak Djokovic. We want to know, what is that like? Because he's rough. He was going for his 10th Australian. He loves that court. He loves Australia, the hard courts. You know, what's the serve? What's the return? The speed to play against?
Yeah, no, it's, you know, his serve is underrated, I think. He serves really well. It's tough to get in any of his service games. He was like a brick wall. He wasn't missing at all. He was getting back every shot. It's like super frustrating to play him. And I mean, it would have been nice to have the experience of playing him one time before going into such a big match against him. I think he kind of made me look like a rookie out there. I hate that match more than anything. Even though it was like the biggest match of my life and the best tournament of my life so far, like, I hate that match because of how bad I felt on the court. Like, I feel like he made me play bad. He outplayed me by a lot.
We just watched Swiatek outplay Garcia these last 2 sets. They're through to the finals. They play the winner, Germany, Australia. Last time you called on the show, Tommy, I was asking you about backwards hat versus forwards hat. I'm curious if you've decided if you're going to go backwards or forwards for the Aussie Open. Do you remember if you were wearing it backwards or forwards during your run last year?
I don't know. I think I switched it up quite a bit. I was actually wearing one hat the first 3 matches at the tournament, and then it turns out like the logo was too big and they made me change my hat. So I used 2 different hats, and I think I wore them both forward and backwards, depending on if it was at night or during the day. At night, I like to turn it around, but during the day, you know, it's pretty hot out there. My face gets pretty burnt easily, so try and keep the sun off of it.
Well, Tommy, we're going to be talking to Brad Stine here after you in a little bit. I wanted to know, you've been working with Brad for 5 years. What do you feel like you've gained the most from such a great coach? I mean, he helped Jim Courier to #1 in the world and so many great players. What do you feel like you've learned from Brad?
Man, I could talk all day on that. He's got an unreal tennis IQ. I mean, I really feel like it's super important when you have a coach to be able to, like, really buy into everything he tells you, and with him it's super easy. It's super easy to learn. I think most of the time when he tries to teach me something, it takes a while because of me, not because of him. He's always telling me the right thing to do, and I know it is, but it's not always easy to make switches, especially in mid-season, especially when it comes to like footwork, or some things can just feel awkward trying to change. But I would say just overall, like tennis IQ, he sees the court really, really well, and I mean, I've learned a lot from him there.
Sometimes when he's there with you on the court, I hear him say, "Play Tommy Paul tennis, play Tommy Paul tennis," something like that. What does he mean when he's saying that to you?
To not really like play against my opponent, play my game, and make my opponent play my game. And he's a big fan of playing American tennis, American style tennis, which he sees as an aggressive form of tennis, finding the net, and I mean, just imposing your game on your opponent. So that's something that we've worked on a ton lately, and I mean, I'll continue to do that.
Yep.
I saw Brad in an interview, and he said, obviously you played 6 matches last year, more than you've ever played in your life in any tournament. So therefore you had a string issue. Tommy, talk about that, because I think it's interesting for the fans. I guess you ran out of poly and you ran out of gut. You were searching, you were struggling. You're stringing 4 or 5 rackets a day.
No, it was insane. I came to Australia to play 2 tournaments, and I brought 2 full reels of string, and I can't even tell you how much gut. And obviously I played 6 matches. I played a few 5-setters, long matches, and I go through strings pretty quick. So I never really thought I'd run out. Like, I thought there was no chance I'd run out of string, and I didn't realize until right after the quarterfinal match that I had no string left. So we were kind of scrambling to try and find some string.
Going to pro shops.
That's amazing.
Where'd you end up finding it?
Oh, yeah. I don't even know. I think Brad found it for me. That's another one of his great qualities as a coach.
Wait, you were talking about your speed and movement. You're clearly one of the faster players on tour. If we had a combine in tennis where we kind of ranked people with speed, what type of things do you think you'd be best at? Is it like the 40-yard? Is the 100-meter? Would it be a cone drill? Which one of those do you think you'd rank first in, if there was one?
I don't think I rank first in any of them,
Really?
but I think I would go pretty high in almost all of them.
Yep.
But I don't think I'm #1 in any of them.
Who's number one?
There's some really, really quick guys on tour in every sense of quickness, whether it's agility or just a straight sprint. There's some guys that are faster than me, so I think I would rank high in most, though.
Yep.
Top 3.
Top 3 for sure. I mean, definitely, this guy's so quick.
That's
He's
what
the
they
man.
say.
We saw Brad pop
We just
in.
saw Brad pop in. Well, Tommy, I know that it's raining there, and we're going to be talking to your coach here, but we just appreciate your time. Thanks for taking the
Thanks,
time.
Tommy.
And what day might you play there in Adelaide?
I think it's Wednesday. I mean, Brad will definitely know more, so ask Brad all those details.
Okay.
Great. Good luck.
Appreciate
Good
it.
luck. Thanks, TP.
Thank you, guys.
You're the man. Thanks, buddy.
See ya.
Take pay. Take pay.